Hey guys, welcome to my channel. I'm Greg. I'm going to go over Bitcoin. We're going to do a little bit more in-depth analysis of Bitcoin using time, one of the features that hardly anybody else uses when it comes to markets or cryptocurrencies. But one of the main features of corrections and bullish moves or impulse moves, whatever you like to call them, is time, is one of the biggest features of it. Corrections take time and sequences take time, and it is a feature of it. It's just very hard to suss out. It's very, very difficult to suss out. So basically right here, guys, I made a video that I think that there's probability that there could be more downside for Bitcoin. Hey, I could be wrong. I'm always, you always want to keep both options in your mind. Okay, you just don't want to be all, okay, I'm so sure it's bearish and that's the only way it's going to go, because things can switch quick. And before I forget, drop a like, hit the subscribe button, learn a little bit more about Bitcoin. So what I'm going to do is right here, you can see I still have this channel on here. So just in case, I have that on there, but I do think that there's a higher probability for more downside with Bitcoin, in my opinion. But what I wanted to do with you guys is we're going to go over something here. It's called the time sequence of Bitcoin. Okay, I'll make this real brief for you guys, and you can see here's an area of Bitcoin making these massive waves, and then we're over here. I want to show you something. There's a trend-based fib time. So here's its cycle right here. I'm going to start it right there, and I'm going to hit at the end of that cycle and click on it. So you can see when Bitcoin went through this whole cycle and made this massive wave, you can see it basically corrected into the 618 area, more or less. Okay. Maybe just past this area right here. You can basically see that Bitcoin looks like its correction ended maybe, that's debatable, but that's 618 more or less. That's 618 area, okay? And then I can go ahead and check another wave, another massive wave with a correction. So let's check this one. Go from here and check that one. Boom. More or less the same area. See that? About 618 area, more or less for Bitcoin on that correction. So these corrections were quick. These corrections overall, even though people call it bear market. Look, guys, if it lasts for a year, in my opinion, it's not really a bear market. It's just a long correction. That's how it is. You want to go to a bear market? This area, this is the S&P 500 back in the 70s, okay, from the 60s to the 70s, and it did still trend up a little bit, but you can see it went sideways. So as an example, let's say you invested here, you're like, oh yeah, S&P 1964 $77, and you waited, let's say you're just going to wait. Oh, look at that, 10 years later, and it's basically the same price. That's a bear market, guys. That's a bear market when things just don't, people are just hodling like that. Like if you're a hodler through this, didn't make much. You didn't make, as a matter of fact, it could have gone down for a little bit, and you didn't really start making any gains again until what, 1980, 82, right? That's a bear market, guys. That's a bear market. A bear market is brutal, truly brutal. If it lasts for a year, in my opinion, it's not a bear market. That whole rule about going down 20% is nonsense, in my opinion, guys. It's really not a bear market, in my opinion. But, everybody has their own version of what a bear market is. But if you think about it, if you bought, let's say you bought Bitcoin for 30,000, technically you could say somebody who bought Bitcoin for what, 20K in 2017, and now it's basically the same price right now, 5 years later, more or less, 4 or 5 years later. So anyhow, let's go back to the time. So now we got this wave. Say this wave right here, guys. I'm going to use this wave right here. Looks like it's debatable where that is. And you can see, that was a very short correction. This correction right here was very short. Okay. Now we're in this area. Okay, now we're in this area. I'm going to use beginning of wave, start of wave 1 to the end of wave 1. You see that more or less about right there. Look at that. You see, that's 1.38. So this correction lasted almost 1.38 times the length of wave one right here, guys. Okay. So now I'm going to check this last wave. This is the start of wave three. End of wave three is right there. Okay. And you see that 1.38. So this correction is taking even longer, and this correction should take longer than a little bit longer than this correction. So maybe something significant is in this area, or maybe we have to wait until the 1.618 around the 29th of August. Okay. That is a really, really good probability for this correction that's going on just based on the length of this one over here. This correction was 1.38 times, 1.4 times the length of this one. So you can expect this one to be at least that long, and it's already hit it. Now I have some lines here. I'm going to go over another chart. I do use time to try to get it in Danish to try to figure out what is going on with Bitcoin, more or less based on a time sequence. It's not the only one that I use. It's one that I like though. And if you take a look, this is, I'm using the 60-day cycle. For those that don't know, this is from Bob Lucas. Okay. He's the one that he came up with that idea, the 60-day cycle. Okay. Now there's a debate on where this last one ended. I think Bob is saying it ended right here rather than here. That seems strange to me that, it's got to be within this window. So more or less it's from the green area. You see the green arrows is from the low. So if you take your last low, and I go over here, it's only 37 days. And then within the window, this is the 60-day mark right here, guys, more or less. 60 days is right there. Okay. So it's open for debate based on his theory. Did it end there? Did it end there? Or did it end there? Okay. Based on the 60-day cycle. A lot are saying that follow it are saying it ended more or less right there. Okay. It could have been there. However, from another chart that I had with Bitcoin, I decided to put that 1.618 window where Bitcoin could finish its correction. Okay. And if I take the time from any of these times, let's say it ended there, and over here is 72 days to 81 days. Okay. That's from the other chart that I have on Bitcoin right here, guys. The 1.38. I'm at the 1.618 to let you know on the trend-based fib time. That's where this is right here. Okay. But if I go from here, he's saying that it ended right there at this low. Okay. So now I'm looking at it, more or less 60 days is right there to 69 days. So maybe that is a window. Maybe he is correct. You pick that date right there, and then you'd have more or less another 60 days or so for something to finish up in that area with Bitcoin, having a little bit of confluence with that area. So that's where those lines are right there. Those two lines that I have right here, let me remove this. Those two lines I have right here are the same ones that are over here, guys, over here like that. Okay. So maybe there is something, maybe this was a cycle high possibly. Okay. You don't, with the 60-day cycle, you use the two bottom ones, 60 days between the lows. Okay. The highs can end in a short amount of time. So let's say the high did end there, right? And it was just 19 days, 20 days for it to bust out the high. And now Bitcoin could be going into a low. Just don't know yet. It's just something I'm playing with. Now, to go back to Bitcoin and the overall picture on the weekly chart, let you guys know, based off time and its corrections and the length of its cycles, this area of Bitcoin is done. Okay. Bitcoin is over with those areas. This is like an altcoin. You want moves like this, you'll have to be in altcoins. Okay. This area is new for Bitcoin. It's in a new era of price action, if you will. I'm not saying it's not going to be able to do some serious moves, but it's not going to be like this anymore. This is a new era, and you can expect, in my opinion, you can expect the corrections to start lasting longer just like it is right here, guys. So what I'm saying is it's going to be even more important. So you have these people that are of the hodl theory, hodl mindset. Well, from here and then going through this and writing this up and going through that, okay, maybe that makes sense. But now over here in this area, guys, or this area of Bitcoin, it's not going to make as much sense, okay? Because the corrections are going to actually be even longer now, continuing in the direction what Bitcoin's going, okay? That's just what's happening is the market is just maturing. It's just a maturing market. It's going on. And it's going to be important to know about Bitcoin because obviously when Bitcoin is bearish, then the rest of the crypto market's bearish, more or less. And if it's bullish, then the market is bullish. But that's something I just wanted to let you guys know what's going on. More than likely, just based off these corrections right here, more than likely, this was some type of cycle right here for Bitcoin. And now Bitcoin is in a new cycle right now, in my opinion. Cycle here, it's in another cycle. And then it'll have this cycle over here, and it'll be maybe even more so where the corrections are even more drawn out in this area down here. All right, guys, I just want to put that out there, show you some stuff that I'm looking at, just because time is an important part of corrections in cryptocurrencies. So as an example, a coin that I'm going to be doing an update on with is VeChain, okay? And you can see here, I'm going to be doing an update with this coin. You can see how the price action on its correction is right here. But now, if you come down here, now you have these corrections, okay? So there's a time component. Just to give you an example, there's a time component, 31 days for that correction. And you have, you know, if that's the end of the correction, 33 days. So you have 33 days, 31 days. So between those two right there was, you know, more than 2 months. But in this instance, you don't have that over there. So something has changed right there. Just giving an example with VeChain, not negative in a way. I'm just saying that that's a probability. And the same thing is probably going on with Bitcoin and the long-term trajectory of it with this cycle and now this new cycle, okay? So I think that for the older crypto people that were all involved into it right here, looking for this massive blow off top like that, it's not going to happen. Not as dynamic over here anymore like this, guys. These days right here for Bitcoin are over. You want these moves, you have to be in altcoins and find those coins to find those moves. If you made it all the way to the end, drop a like, hit the subscribe button. Peace.